I have been building with Bionicle for over 15 years now. Making a full stop-motion Bionicle movie is a huge task. What's even larger than that is making that same said movie with totally custom designed figures. That takes time, patience, a lot of skill, and a lot of praying, and lots of Bionicle pieces. To make a Bionicle movie of this scale, you have to have an environment that is believable. And that means filling that environment with all sorts of creatures, namely Rahi. So Rahi were some of the first creatures I started working on building to populate the island of Motunui. My process for making these Rahi is unique, to say the least. I have to wait for God's inspiration to guide me into which Rahi it is time to build. And then I do it, and it just works out somehow. He has given me a list of over 60 Rahi species that have to be made for this film to work. And of those 60-some species, I have already built over 50. I don't even remember how many at this point. So clearly I've been holding back a little. But hopefully in this video I will at least show you a small glimpse at how these Rahi and Toa and Matoran are made. My early Bionicle designs and figures left a lot to be desired, and so I've tried my best to update each figure to make them closer and closer to a product that deserves to be on screen. A product that can be well animated. Lots of joints, lots of articulation. I'm trying to remake all the 2001 Rahi, but I also take inspiration from different areas like some of the Bionicle games, and sometimes I just Google images of real creatures and go by the design I see there and try to copy it in Bionicle Lego form. Sometimes it can be a very slow process, especially if I am out of the right pieces. Yes! Perfect. Apparently I need more of these. In this case scenario, I have about 3 options. Number 1 option, find it on eBay. If I can't find a good deal on eBay, sometimes I will look on Bricklink, and if those fail me, I have one other option.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. And I actually have some friends there now, who will sometimes inform me when they get a Bionicle shipment.
Anything like that or no?
Yes, definitely. Some of my friends will even go there and help me dig out the right Bionicle parts that I'm looking for. Yeah, we could be here for a while. I'll take a few of these. Whoa.
I'm kidding.
A visit to Bricks and Minifigs can take over an hour sometimes. Sometimes even Mom helps with the digging. I show her what parts I need and she tries to find them. Yeah, definitely. Eyepieces are a big score. You know, I'll take him. This is actually kind of rare. Iron Drone arms and hands are sometimes at the top of my list. Because with all the Bionicle figures I have to make, that's a lot of fingers. So I always try to stock up on those. I'd say that little venture was a success. Picked up this little guy too. He's got such good pieces. Now comes the sorting process. This is where I divide between small parts, armor plates, weapons, limbs and bones, rare parts, masks, and of course Toa heads. I need you, so I'm gonna put you on my desk. Tohunga feet, very important. Takanuva blade, you'll go in weapons. Vizola, you'll go with masks.
Your mask will make a fine addition to my collection.
The sorting process itself can take quite some time. And that's about as far as I get before most LEGO fans faint. So I'm getting ready for a Gamatoran scene that's going to involve a small crowd, so I need lots of Matoran. That means lots of feet need sawing, and this Gamatoran might be classified more as an Agori. Definitely a Agori class. Just needs a paint job. One thing I really enjoy doing, I kind of call it mix-matching masks, where I basically slice up multiple segments and pieces of Bionicle masks and rearrange them and try to come up with what looks like a completely new type of mask. But ultimately, since they are from Bionicle parts, just different constituents, the end result still has a very Bionicle-like feel or vibe. And with a little spray paint, you've got a brand new mask. Over the years, I have accumulated quite a few mix-matched masks that have turned out to look pretty natural once they're painted. It's amazing how different pieces from completely different masks can fit together remarkably well. You just have to know which will make the fit and which ones will not. But right now, I'm going to refocus on some of my Rahi MOCs again. And I'll show you a couple of old ones that I've put together. I call this one my Nivok bat. They're large enough to be able to fly off with certain size Matoran. But overall, I'd consider them to be on the smaller side, on the smaller scale for Rahi. And we made a couple different species of Hoi turtles for the Ga Koro scenes. I actually made the Hoi turtles years ago, and over the years, my MOCs have accumulated more and more. I try to build at least roughly 3 or 4 Rahi MOCs per year. Not to mention a small abundance of just any kind of props that are needed for the movie.
Hello.
Now I want to show a short progression of me putting together a Nui-Copen MOC. Basically, a Bionicle wasp. If this Rahi is based on a real-life creature, I always try to refer to the source material. And it actually helps quite a bit to make them look more lifelike. So these were some of the images that inspired me. The Nui-Copen's body itself, I ended up just starting with a Vaki shin guard. From there, I just kept building onto it more and more, and put the legs on, and as you can see, the body itself is somewhat already constructed. I just have to bore out some of the wings to make them, give them pinholes, make them more posable. And of course, this Rahi is the type of Rahi that I want 2 of. So I'm going to have to represent a bit of a swarm. And it's around this stage that the MOC itself can become a little bit frustrating because none of the pieces are glued in and there is no paint friction yet, so sometimes these things will constantly fall apart right in my hands. Very fragile constructs. Yeah, that'll do. Nicely posable. Lots of Martian and battle droid arms, for sure. I wasn't using them for anything else, so... Okay, looks good. Now let's do 2 more. And then when I'm done, let's do 4 more. For a whole another wasp. We've got a retractable stinger tail. And now let's move into the prototype stage. They're still really fragile at this point, but a good paint job should definitely increase the amount of friction in the joints here. And there we have Nui-Copen, a very mechanical pair of wasps. I would so not envy the Toa having to fight these things. Now I want to show you a brief compilation of MOCs I've made over the years that are not necessarily Bionicle related. Some of these I made for fun, some of them I made for whatever. In the meantime, I'm working on the latest MOC prototype for Toa Onua. This version will hopefully be the final on-screen version of Onua. Just trying to wire and glue these claws, because who doesn't want posable fingers? It's true I've made prototypes of the Toa for years, but the final rendition of each Toa is just on a completely different level. To be able to look at that Toa and say, that looks like the original toy, but way cooler. And that's basically what I'm trying to do with all my MOCs, because I see this as God's project and not mine. So I gotta do my best. So please keep us here at Little Brotherhood Studios in your prayers. Consider supporting us on Patreon if you wish. You can also follow us on our Little Brotherhood Studios page on Facebook. And thank you so much to all my current supporters. And thank you to everyone who has even gotten to the end of this video. Just watching our videos means a lot to me. But now I want to take a moment to thank all of my fans who helped support me by sending their own Bionicle Lego parts. I have gotten multiple custom Matoran figures based on Project Toa sent to me. I am so excited to use them in the film. These are fantastic. I have already shot multiple shots with these characters in them. So thank you guys so much. But I especially want to point out these packages that I received.
Ooh, there's a note.
A little background to this. I was having a really bad day. That's when these 2 packages showed up. It says, Dear David and Christopher Ulrich, growing up, Lego and Bionicles were what my childhood revolved around. Although as a grown teenager, my Lego and Bionicle obsession felt close to perishing until the day I stumbled upon the most inspirational stop-motion YouTube video I've seen in my life. 7th Anniversary Project Toa, with an exclamation. It didn't feel like your typical average in childlike stop-motion. It felt real. As a passionate writer and movie maker, the cinematic tension you built in your film and the character designs and the musical score was so memorable and all so flawless. A true masterpiece that revived my childhood. I felt like I was watching an actual movie which left me wanting more. In this case scenario of hype, I looked up every Bionicle post you guys released on your Little Brother Studios Facebook page and watched every other Bionicle video on your channel. I've never considered supporting a channel before, but after all these years of persistently holding on to my Bionicles, I have now decided to give my valuable toys away so that your YouTube channel may grow. I personally believe that with the gift God has given you guys, you're both capable of reviving the Bionicle franchise with your YouTube series. Keep pressing forward and don't give up. Your fans believe in you, including me. Keep in mind that I'm praying for your dreams to come true. Good luck. Enjoy the spare Bionicle parts. Happy New Year. God bless, Caleb Vargas. P.S. If you guys sold merchandise, t-shirts specifically, I would totally buy one and advertise. As you can imagine, that message to me meant so much more than even the package itself did. We were super excited for all these parts too.
Ooh, Holly. Now you must open this one.
An interesting side note is that before I opened this package, I was telling God in my heart what I really need is a Mask of Time. But I accepted the unlikelihood of that request.
Cool.
And then there was a Mask of Time in there, and it's like God did that special for me right there. That it just felt like a little cherry on top.
A Mask of Time.
What do you know? Maybe he has another.
I just felt super blessed after that.
A golly man.
And it really made my crummy day fantastic.
These are blocks.
Ooh, I haven't seen one of these in a while. Ooh, let's see if this has any special content. Nope. We got a bunch of Metro heads, so makes me think of a turtle.
We got a comma in here. So very special thanks to you, Caleb. I know these parts will go to good use. And I've already got some ideas for them.